Food for thought. Last month, a consumer group listed some of the unhealthiest dishes served at popular restaurant chains. Food packed with calories, salt, and fat. And that got us to wondering just how unhealthy can this food be, and what happens when you make just one meal of it. Our Yunji Denise found out.
Deep-fried macaroni and cheese, a bacon cheeseburger wrapped in a quesadilla, a giant cookie smothered in ice cream. The Center for Science and the Public Interest calls them nutritional train wrecks. Producer John Garcia and I went to the University of Maryland's Medical Center to see what the effect would be on our bodies. Before we ate, researchers took blood samples and gauged the health of our arteries with an ultrasound.
It's a very healthy pulsating.
Now comes the fun part. We get to eat a whole lot of lunch.
Bon appetit.
Our one meal, appetizer, entree, and dessert, packed more than 3 times as many calories as the government recommends for an entire day, and almost 10 times the saturated fat. 2 hours later, it was time to test. John, how are you feeling?
Still sluggish. Still tired.
John's blood samples said it all.
Essentially, you can see what a clear difference. This is fat in his blood, basically.
All that fat goes right to your arteries. Mine narrowed, and you can hear the difference. Here's what my blood flow sounded like before eating. And this is after.
Your heart is working twice as hard now.
And is that because those arteries are so much smaller?
Yes, it's narrow arteries.
It shows that one meal can affect the health of your artery.
Cardiologists Robert Vogel and Michael Miller analyzed our results. What's worse, eating a quesadilla cheeseburger or smoking a cigarette?
I'd say they're equally bad.
Each and every meal that you eat is important to the health of your artery. And since we live by our arteries, your survival depends on it.
The effects of that one meal only lasted about 6 hours, but doctors say eaten regularly, this is the food that heart attacks are made of. Yunji Denise, ABC News, Baltimore.
We really do love it when you write us with ideas, and thank you for this one. 3 weeks ago, we conducted that experiment to see exactly what fast food does to your arteries. 2 hours after you've eaten it, how quickly it can strike. The results stopped us cold, and you too. One of you wrote us and said, hey, what about doing a comparison? And Yunji Denise is back with that.
Good morning, Diane. You know, viewers had a really strong response to our fatty food experiment. Many were shocked at the results. A lot of you wrote in wanting to know what a healthier meal might do to the body, so we sat down for another lunch. Good morning. In our first visit to the University of Maryland's Medical Center, producer John Garcia and I binged. We found out the hard way just how bad fat can be. So, John, how are you feeling?
Still sluggish. Still tired. Still head hurts.
We ordered from some of America's most popular chain restaurants, and each packed away over 6,000 calories and more than 10 times the amount of saturated fat recommended by the government. 2 hours later, that fat was chugging through our veins.
This is fat in his blood, basically.
But you challenged us to see what would happen if we ate right. So we went back. Hello again. Nice to see you. With a much healthier meal from the very same restaurants. Time for lunch. This time we're starting with soybeans, then moving on to grilled salmon, veggies, and rice, and ending with apple pie that we're splitting. This meal had about 1,000 calories and 3 grams of saturated fat. 2 hours later, another test and the moment of truth.
We're looking to see a difference between the blood that was drawn earlier and the blood that was drawn now.
John's blood after eating looked almost fat-free.
There's only a slight difference. You can't really see the fat, that much fat in the blood at all.
Remember last time, the fat in his blood was undeniable. This time, his 2 samples were almost identical.
The food was healthy, didn't raise the blood fat levels, and therefore likely not to have an abnormal or unhealthy effect on your arteries.
But my results were so extraordinary, they surprised even the doctors. Not only was my blood clear, my arteries actually expanded. I was healthier after I'd eaten the salmon.
We've seen that with people eating fish. This was a lot healthier meal for you, and it actually made your arteries healthier.
So much healthier, doctors said that one meal had the same effect on my arteries as if I'd just gone for a run.
The great news here is that you can go to virtually any restaurant or fast food chain and find a healthy food choice.
It's not so much what we shouldn't do. It really is how we should live, what is really good for us.
The final lab results showed that my arteries had a 25% improvement. Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer for both men and women in this country. And this really shows, Diane, how much every meal does matter.
So this is 2 hours afterwards, and your arteries are as if you had taken a run.
Yeah, the calories, no, but the heart, yes.
How about that? Pretty amazing. Thank you again. Love when you suggest ideas to